but I looked on Google and someone had asked the question, and 3 other people gave recommendations.
It's a variation of Yedim Darshan V'Zech Alayim. The nuances only specific.
Sounds like Ben Pakura.
Right.
There's an app now. You take a picture of the blemish that tells you.
I'm sure there's there's doctors, things like that also. Amar Rav Chia.
Take a picture of the patient. Tells you this one will not pay.
Facial recognition.
When I first opened my office and we were putting the buzzer in that would lock the door, I said to the nurse, "Why do we need to lock the door? We want people to come in." She said, "That's not to keep them out. That's to keep them in till they've paid." And then you let them out.
That's a good nurse.
What they say with someone, a psychiatrist, someone came in, they said they're suicidal. And so he right away calls the nurse and make sure this guy pays before they... Amar Rav Chia bar Oven, Amar Rav Amram. Added in some words there. Gimel matir nasa b'chor b'makom shein mamcha. 3 people can say that this is a mum if there's no expert there. Gimel matir nasa neder b'makom shein chacham. 3 people can permit a vow if there's no expert there. Gimel matir nasa b'chor b'makom shein mamcha. We go back to the first case to explain 3 people if you don't have an expert. La'afukim id Rabbi Yosi. This is coming to exclude Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi says that you can't use 3 people you need to have always an expert. Shleishim mefir nesaneder. The word is not accurate there. It says mefirin. Mefirin is what the husband does to his wife or to a father, to the daughter, that they can annul a vow. But matirin is what the chacham does. The 3 people can permit a vow. B'makom shein chacham. That's also lafuke mid Rabbi Yehuda. That's also excluding Rabbi Yehuda. Here we're excluding Rabbi Yosi. Now we're excluding Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya, hafaras nedarim begimel. It means hataras nedarim. You can do hataras nedarim with 3 people. Rabbi Yehuda echad me'am chacham. One of them needs to be a sage. B'makom she'ein chacham. When we said if there is no chacham, so kagayin man. What type of chacham are we referring to? Amar Rav Nachman kagayin ana. You like this? You see that? Says like me.
He said himself that he's Mashiach.
Says like me.
Who? Rav Nachman.
In the Gemara, Rav Nachman bar Yaakov.
This is
Not Rav Nachman ben Fega.
Oh.
Rav Nachman of Breslov thought his son was Mashiach, but his son passed away. That was like the whole thing. He had a son Simcha. That after he had all his hopes in this child, and then his child passed away, it was a very difficult time for him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Echem yam chacham. One of them needs to be a chacham. What does that mean? One of them needs to be a chacham. B'chlal dahanach kaldu. It means that the others could be nothing. You just take one chacham with 2 strangers that are like amaratzim. They don't have any knowledge of any of the laws. Amravina de mistabilu v'savar. It's not that they're nothing. They have to be able to understand what the chacham is explaining to them. That he'll explain it to them and they can understand. That's already a level. It's like the yeshiva bacher. He maybe doesn't know the halachas, but you can tell him and he'll understand. Okay. Rabbi Yosi says, even if there's a whole bezdin there, but there's no expert, you can't rely on them. Amrav Chananel Amarav, Ein halacha k'Rabbi Yosi. Rav Chananel says in the name of Rav, the halacha is not like Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi says you need an expert always. The Gemara says, Pshita Yachad V'Rab Malacha K'Rabim. Rabbi Yosi is an individual. We have the sages that are arguing with him. Of course, the halacha is not like Yachad V'Rabim. We have a rule. An individual and the majority, you go after the majority. Mao, the Teimin Nimukayimai could have thought that maybe the halacha is like Rabbi Yosi anyway, because we have a rule that Rabbi Yosi Nimukayimai, that the halacha is always like him. How do they translate the word Nimukay?
It's here, plumb line.
What is it? The reasoning? What do you
Here
have?
it says plumb line. Nim v'kav.
Some suggest...
This logic was extremely straight like a plumb line.
with an ayin missing between the first two letters. So its term is omek, meaning depth. The actual word is na'amukai. Some say it's the Greek word namikas, meaning wise and learned, used in several Greek letters. I put that picture of status.
Usually, Nemukai means reasoning.
Yeah, that's what
That's
we're
what
saying. But you're saying that it's oimek. That
Here he says
the plumb line is
line.
what draws it down to the bottom, right? The depth. So it's missing an ayin. Na'amukai. Kamash Malon comes to teach us that we go like the majority. Tifshit miya dehach kamaisim shmei deshmol itmar. It's obvious, though, that if that's the case, that when we said before Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba, Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba, and we don't know if it's the name of Rav or in the name of Shmuel, let's answer now, let's resolve it that it was in the name of Shmuel. Why? Dimashmei de Rav, because if it would be in the name of Rav, that you can use three people to permit a Bechor, if there's no Mumcha there, Tarti Lamali. I don't need Rav to say both halachas here, to say that I don't go like Rabbi Yossi, and to elaborate on it, to say that I can use three people. So Chad Mechlal Chaverta Itmar. It could be that one was said was taken out of the other one. And that means that it's not necessarily that there were two statements here, one name of Rav, one name of Shmuel. It could be that Rav said one of them, and then it got elaborated into this other statement. Sheikh is a new Mishnah. Sheikh is a Bechor. So in Sheikh's a Bechor. And he sells the flesh. Not this time, this is going to be something interesting for you. And then you find out afterwards that it wasn't really kosher. Because we find out afterwards it was never showed to the chacham. So masha achlo. The guy ate it already. What was eaten was eaten. However, b'yachsalem adamim, but the guy needs to give back the money that they paid for it. Because it wasn't kosher. They ate it, but there's a fine over here. And he has to return all the money. What they didn't eat, habasi yikaver b'yachsalem adamim. So that you bury it, and just bury it means that you can't have any benefit from it. Because it could have been karban. It didn't have a blemish. And then in what you paid for it, you bought it, the guy has to give you back the money. Let's say someone slaughters a cow, he sells the meat, and then you find out that it's a treifa. Masha achlo, what they ate, masha la yachlo, but what they didn't eat. Heim yachzru la yasabas, masha la yachlo, heim yachzru la yasabas. They return the flesh. V'hu yachzru lem asadamim. So, and he gives them back the money. In other words, here it's a little different. Here, what they ate, they don't get the money back for. They ate. The fact is, they're full. What they didn't eat, they return.
Why don't
By
they
the
get their
Bechor,
money back?
by the Bechor, there's a special fine that
Was
this
the
person
V'noida
didn't show it.
Shutreifa, was it done on purpose or not?
No. That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. Any reference from the English? Does it say? Machrulai v'kechavim. Let's say they didn't eat it. They sold it to a guy. They gave it to a dog. Yishalmu d'mei treifa. Then it's probably supposed to be a shlima or something. They have to give the difference in price between what it would have been if it would have been kosher meat. The guy that sold it to them needs to reimburse them because they ended up with treifa meat. They used it as treifa meat. And
So why doesn't it say Yishalim? Why it says Yishalim?
I think it's supposed to be a shlima or something. Yishalmu loy d'mei. Does it mean to complete instead of pay?
plural. The owner should be one.
It says that they have to give back the balance, because when they're giving it back to the original guy, he can sell it to a goy or give it to the dogs, and then they return to the seller the value of the tray for meat, which is less than the value of kosher, and the seller reimburses them for the difference. Not the whole thing.
So 1 second. They have tray for meat by them. They give it back to the owner, or they give it to the dogs?
If since they give it back to the owner can give it to the dogs
Okay.
and sell to goyim.
Okay. But he has to give them
Oh
back
no,
the
I'm
full
sorry.
price.
It says the purchasers of this treifa subsequently sold it to goyim or gives it to the dogs.
Yeah, I
They
see it in
return to
Rashi.
the seller the value of the treifa meat, which is less than the value of the kosher.
So they didn't eat it.
And the seller reimburses them for the difference.
Uh-huh.
They didn't eat it. They didn't eat
So
it.
they
sold it.
return.
They got the meat.
Right.
They sold it to every.
Okay. Now
So
who
they
gives
paid,
them?
maybe they sold it as good meat. So the only thing they have to pay back to the guy is the maitre. Cheap.
And what the guy has to give them back is the difference of the Demetrius.
No.
The guy has to give them back their money.
I don't know why. Look at Rashi.
It says the seller
But
refunds
Yassin
the balance to the buyers.
he says.
Oh, so that's what it means. That's what it means. What it means is right.
So they sold them. He sold them kosher meat.
Right.
At a high price.
So what it
Kosher meat
means,
is high.
Yishalmalei Dmei Treifa, is that when the guy gives them back he reimburses them, he keeps the Dmei Treifa.
Yeah.
He keeps the Dmei Treifa. Okay, Shekayach. Tan Rabbanan. It's taught in the Bais, Amaycha Basa L'Chaveir V'Nimtza Basa Bechar. Someone tells me to his friend, it turns out it was Bechar meat. Peiris V'Nimtza Tvalim. Gives him fruits. It turns out that it was fruits that the Meiser wasn't taken. Yayin v'nimtzi yayin esrich, gives him wine, and it turns out that it was straight for wine from Avodah Zarah. Masha achlu, what they ate. V'yachsalam esadama, but he has to return the money. In other words, they're not. They didn't have to pay for that.
All this is an accident, because if it's amazing, shouldn't you give him a knas?
Right. Right. Reb Shimon ben Elazar, medvarm shenefesh katze be'em yachsalam esadama. Depends. If they're disgusted by it, then it's considered that they had no benefit from it. Now, the fact is, they had a tray for meal. So they could walk out, they say, oh, it was treif, well, it was a good meal, but it was treif. Or they could say, yuck, I just ate treif. If they walk out saying, yuck, I just ate treif, so then he has to give them back. They had no benefit from it, even though they ate, but that's not considered benefit. They feel disgusted. But if they're not disgusted by what they ate, then you're not lemes adamim. Then he just gives them back something from the price. It wasn't as good.
Gives them a discount.
A discount, right? These are the things that a person would be disgusted by. Nevela streifish katzim or matzim. It's mamish treif meat, treif. Or an insects type of thing. What is something that he won't be disgusted by? That's bechoros. It was a bechor, it didn't have a mum, it was kosher. It had a problem because it wasn't, it didn't have the mum yet. Tvolim, the meiser wasn't taken, b'yayin nesach, and non-kosher wine. Okay, now the Gemara says, bechor, b'lei malei mayav sadaticha, takes the opposite approach. Tells the guy that, look, you had a bechor here. Why did you charge me for it? You couldn't do anything with it. I shouldn't have to pay you anything for it. It was a bechor. It says, he says, no, I'm charging you because of you I lost. Because I gave you the piece that had the mum in it. And you ate that. The amalei lavda achalta have a machzina lei. If you wouldn't have eaten it, I could have used that thigh or whatever. I could have shown it to the kohen, and I could have permitted the whole animal. And that's why I'm charging you for that.
Oh, this is weird.
What does it mean, Rabbi Yehuda? Oh, Rabbi Yehuda, that says that you're allowed to check it after the death.
He didn't go and check. He didn't this. I would have said this. Come on.
But you hear the claim. I can see something like this in Besdin, where the guy is saying, but why should I pay you?
You should pay me.
You couldn't do anything with it anyway. So the guy says, no, it's because of you. If you wouldn't have, I could have done something with it, but you ate it. So
a Besdin in Spain. You go and you knock the blood out, and they say, pay me money because
I'm looking for houses for the Bachrim. So it was one house, a very large house, 7 bedrooms. I said, this is perfect. I'll even pay a little more. They said, what do you mean pay a little more? You should pay, because of us, you don't have to pay 2 houses. So you're saving on 2 houses. You should pay for 2 houses. I'm like, that's not how business works. I'm not doing that. Okay, Tvolim, havim mesakninelu v'achalnelu. Tvolim, the reason why he has to pay him is because he could have fixed it, but now that he ate it, he can't fix it. Yayin nesech al yedei tarubas. The yayin nesech, it was mixed into other wine, and he could have sold it without the price of the yayin nesech. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, the Tanan, yayin nesech shnafel lebar kuli aser barna. The first opinion says that yayin nesech makes all the wine treif in a mixture. The second opinion, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says, I could sell it. You could sell it to a non-Jew who could drink it. However, you're not allowed to get benefit from the yayin nesech. You say chutz mitmei yayin nesech shabai, except for the yayin nesech, that price. So notice that proportion is going to come for free. So that's why he's telling him that you still have to pay me something because I could have sold it. Okay. Finish the parrot.